All right. So the next topic, and it's, unfortunately along the same lines here with domestic violence, and it's Chet Hanks. So for our listeners out there who don't know, Chet Hanks is the firstborn son of actor Tom Hanks and actress Rita Wilson. And Chet has definitely had a very interesting go of things when it comes to, um, his life in general, but especially the Black culture and community. And the specific incident we're referring to is a domestic violence situation that happened with his ex-girlfriend, Kiana Parker. And the official question that we are going to answer today is, what are your thoughts on the Chet Hanks domestic violence situation? And just to throw that out there for our listeners as well, another aspect of this that we will be discussing is the fact that this is the same guy that started the white boy summer movement. I'm going to put that in quotation marks.
That's a thing?
That's something that he actually started.
Good Lord. It's not about the name. Why is everyone starting movements thinking everyone wants to be cool? I want to start this movement. I want to start this movement. That's what everybody is now. Jeez. I need to just sit down.
Exactly right. So I'm actually going to throw this one to Mr. PAT again. I know that you had some thoughts on this subject. What say you, sir?
Hold on. I got one quick. So I just want to make sure I got this right. Isn't that the dude who played in Empire as that white rapper and whatnot? Is that him?
I couldn't tell you because I've never seen a full episode of Empire a day in my life.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to put names and linkages to like people. I'm horrible at this thing. I'm just horrible.
No, you could very well be right. I just have no idea. I'm not a fan of Empires per se. I'm glad that there are some, shows out there with largely Black casts that are very successful. But I tried to watch like the first few episodes, and I didn't even watch them in full. I ended up watching, pieces here and there, and it wasn't for me. So you could be right. I'm not sure.
No worries.
But what I can tell you is that he did have like some kind of brief rap career where he went by the name Chet Hayes. That came up in my research, but that's all I know in relation to that.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. All right, Mr. PAT, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. So domestic violence, we've already established that it is a huge problem and it needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
I won't speak too much on that aspect when it comes to Chet Hanks. I'll touch on it here and there, but I'm not going to really put too much focus on that. I'm going to say this loud and clear, plain and simple. Chet Hanks is an annoying white boy, plain and simple.
Yay.
He's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of this dude. I see him as a culture vulture, straight up. He's a culture vulture.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he used to rap or still does. Not that I care, but I do remember at one point in time, he got called out for using the N-word. He even defended his use of it and said he believes it, quote, unifies the culture of hip hop across all races. So
he actually said that?
Yeah, he said that bullshit.
In an interview?
I guess it was an interview. But yeah.
Who let him say something like that in an interview?
Right.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, he was saying the N-word, all freely and whatnot. He got called out on it and he doubled down. He didn't like back down off of it. He said, yeah, I used the N-word And yeah, he said it unifies the culture of hip hop across all races. We know that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, right now I'm rolling my eyes and just thinking to myself, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. But to go back to the domestic violence situation, so dude's ex-girlfriend said that she was called a ghetto black bitch. This is what I read. He called her a ghetto black bitch. He said that she's a ghetto black bitch and no one would believe her since he is Chet Hanks. This is what you said her name was Kiana Parker.
Correct.
Ex girl, yeah. This is what
called her a hoe.
He called her a ghetto black bitch, and he said that no one would believe her side of the story because he is Chet Hanks.
Man, I will slap that nigga in his face.
The son of Tom Hanks, so that's someone who knows and fully understands his white privilege, and he knows how to weaponize it. This is why, honestly, black people need to stop letting these white dudes in the culture like this. We just need to stop embracing them. But unfortunately, this kind of thing happens when we, black people, I'm talking about black people on this one, we invite white people to these imaginary cookouts. I can't stand when a black person says that a white person is, quote, invited to the cookout. I know y'all have heard that before.
There's only certain people that can be invited to my cookout, though.
Yeah, but I'm not even for all that. Like,
but me,
like, man,
I agree.
That.
I agree.
I'm not inviting nobody to no fucking cookout. Like, I don't even know why. I don't even know why we say that. And we
can we make sure? Can we make sure? Is Eminem like? Is he an exception or he's just like? Well,
he's mad. Like, wait.
I think he probably, I guess, maybe an exception depending on who you talk to. But I mean, I think so too. I just think that whole idea of inviting people to cookouts, like, fuck out of here with all that. Like, I'm definitely not a fan of that. Like, I'm not a fan of that at all. And,
that's
we hear that dumb shit when we come across a white person we think is cool, or when we hear a white person say something that is in defense of black people. Straight up, this cookout bullshit needs to stop. For my black people out there, stop this cookout bullshit. Stop it. Stop it with this whole you're invited to the cookout. Stop it. Stop it, B. This same Chet Hanks recently said this summer is going to be a white boy summer. And this fool tried to make a distinction between the Trump supporter type white boy and the John B type white boy.
Yes, he really did.
As if there's really any difference.
Whoa. John B is the only white brother that I can say I can give him a pass.
Well, I fuck with John B's music. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to, say anything against John B. I'm just saying what Tom Hanks' son said. He's making that distinction between Trump supporter type white boy and John B type white boy, basically because we see John B as like the cool white boy. I don't
that whole different
see a difference. To me, it's the whole conservative and liberal thing. It's the whole right wing and left wing thing. Really, it's the overt racist and the covert racist. To me, they're all the same. They're all racist. Both sides just do their racism differently. So I say fuck them both. When it comes to right wing, left wing, overt racist, covert racist, fuck them both. I'm not gonna, choose one or the other because I'm not, especially covert racist, which, I guess some people would probably more prefer because it's not as blatant, but I say fuck that too. I'm not one of these black people who are okay with one racism over the other, regardless of if that version of racism tries to act like it's my friend.
Can we all say we don't want to save no hoes?
Yeah, we definitely don't want to save this hoe that we're talking about.
I agree.
I just think the problem with Black people embracing the Chet Hanks of the world is that it becomes open season for them to engage in liberal racism and disrespect Black people. So I'll just say that it is okay for us to have white friends. That that's not the issue. But those white friends need to be real people. The Chet Hanks of the world come into Black society and they infiltrate and perpetrate. I don't respect them at all. Straight up, I don't respect them at all. They basically act like cartoon versions of whatever their perception of Black people is. And speaking of cartoons, that's what Chet Hanks and anyone like him is, a cartoon. Because really, they're a character. They're not anyone to be taken seriously. They basically put on blackface without actually putting on the blackface paint. So we might think that blackface is a thing of the past, but in all actuality, blackface is still going on. It's still going on because just like the current enslavement that we're in, it's just something that's hidden in plain sight. So those are my overall thoughts on Chet Hanks. I know we're supposed to speak on the domestic violence part. I think our views are clear. At least my views clear on just domestic violence.
I mean, we already know. So right.
Yeah, it's atrocious. It needs to stop. But this dude right here, I'm sorry, but he's a clown. I just can't take him seriously. I'm gonna just rest on that.
Gotcha. Yes, sir. All right, E-Man, what say you, sir?
Yeah, before I start, I'm gonna need Nia Angel to hand me some baby powder because I need to go slap a hoe. Because I'm getting tired of saving these hoes, but my man, I will not say his name. So how you say his name?
Chet Hanks.
Chet Hanks.
Chet. Oh, okay.
Chet, C-H-E-T.
Chet. All right. So because he a hoe that definitely just need to be slapped because I can't believe people allow you to say what you said in an interview, like it's crazy to let people say what they want to say, which there's law behind that because you have your freedom of speech, but you're very deranged for letting him say what he said and supported what he said, because we all know, domestic violence needs to stop, but that hoe just needs to be slapped. Like, it's very disgusting. Because when I saw this story, all I wanted to do was just baby powder and just slap him, and I just wanted my pimp hand to be so strong that I slap him hard, that I slap him like 4 times back to back. The pimp in me just wanted to just slap him. I feel so bad for her because now she fell into a toxic another relationship. And I'm not going back, because I've already said, my PSA announcement already. But whatever happens to you, man, that is your fault. And I just hope somebody out there get that baby powder, buy the good stuff, and I want you to just put a lot in your hand. And when you see them, give them that good pimp slap.
Not the Johnsons. You said the Johnsons, baby.
I think we need Johnsons and Johnson. I think, go get some Johnson & Johnson baby powder. Make sure you put a lot in your hand. That brave soul who does it, best believe, I will make sure, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you the biggest shout out in the world if you do that. Because I'm getting sick and tired of these damn sick assholes, these fellas who swear they can say what they want to say and don't have no repercussions behind it. But like I told everybody, get that baby powder, get it all in the hand and get him good because he definitely deserves it, Like Charlemagne likes to say, the donkey of the day, it belongs to Chet Hanks. And I'm ending on that.
Okay, thank you, sir. So for the most part, I would say, this is a fairly easy one for me. I too think he's a clown. My specific thoughts on, what are your thoughts on the Chet Hanks domestic violence situation is that he's a pompous asshole who is perpetuating Black stereotypes as truth and culturally appropriating Black culture. I mean, that's the most that's the most simplistic way to put it. The evidence of that is his white boy summer movement. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Said it perfectly.
Yeah, it's a situation where it's like he has gone as far as to actually speak in quote unquote Jamaican accents at random times and is totally okay with being as ridiculous and preposterous as he has been when he's doing this. And the reason he's okay with that is because it has been allowed. And so, in other words, the points that you all have touched on are spot on. I think I'm not surprised by a domestic abuse allegation against him because his entire persona is, based on being a pompous asshole. I feel like if you consider the entire scenario here, including the fact that his father is one of the most famous actors in the entire world. And I am a huge Tom Hanks fan. Huge Tom Hanks fan.
Yeah, he's got some good movies.
He do, but I'm not a fan of him no more. I'm not a fan of him no more.
Yeah, his father, his mom, Rita Wilson, she's also a famous actress. At the end of the day, what I see here is someone who was raised with famous parents who have had the privilege of being privileged, right? Not just from a white privilege perspective, but from a rich person perspective, and does not actually believe he will ever face any consequences because that he hasn't. Right? He didn't face any consequences for using the N-word in front of Black people or in a public forum. He hasn't faced any consequences for randomly using Jamaican accents. He hasn't faced any consequences for this particular incident. He's going to continue to be the asshole that he is until he faces consequences.
Oh no, I feel like if the right Karen just comes by his way and just gets him, I think that would be like the perfect thing.
I don't even know that he would date a white woman. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't, but his personality to me seems as though he operates in his own mind, like he has some kind of just impunity to anything but doing what he wants to do. In other words, I think in his mind, he can perpetuate Black culture with no problem. He can perpetuate stereotypes with no problem, and he can date Black women with no problem even after this incident, because in his mind, he's Chet Hanks. Basically in his mind is one of those who gonna check me situations.
Yep. It's gonna be Homie the Clown. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
the Homie don't play that.
I mean, for me, it's simple, right? If we're talking about what my thoughts are on the domestic violence portion of it, as we've stated clearly, in any situation, regardless of the circumstances, if two people have such a volatile and toxic relationship, they should separate from each other. There is no need for it to ever elevate to violence. Fortunately, especially with, Black women, one of the leading causes of death is at the hands of their lover. And, that's
true.
That is unfortunate. True. Right. Yeah. It's unfortunate because sometimes it's that, people can't see the picture clearly until it's too late. And it's not just, women dying at the hands of men. Also, there are, men who die at the hands of abusive women. The point is walk away. Walk away from the situation, walk away from the relationship. I know it's difficult. I know there are sometimes mitigating circumstances why, and the reason why people decide to stay. But at the end of the day, there is nothing that can replace a life lost. So hopefully these people recognize that, realize that, they walk away. So from the domestic dispute standpoint, of course, I hope they remain separate. Whatever needs to happen from that appropriately happens. It's my understanding they've both filed legal suits against each other in that regard, and have filed charges against each other in that regard. So only time will tell. As far as Chet Hanks specifically, I'm not a fan. I think that he is, a joke, for lack of a better term. And
Homie the clown needs to just get his ass.
Right, exactly. Personally, I don't have any thing good to say about any of the behavior that I've seen from him thus far. It's all atrocious to me. And so, from that perspective, fuck them, for lack of a better term.
Homie, don't play that.
And real quick, I mean, as you've established, and what we've all established, is that these two people, obviously they need to separate. That they separated already, and that's really the course of action that needs to be taken, especially when it's a domestic violence situation. You gotta do your best to walk away. It's just one of those things. Naya Angel articulated it perfectly. We know it's hard. It can be tough. There's certain circumstances, situations that are involved, and it's easier said than done. It's one of those things, but it's just one of those things where we gotta try to walk away from these types of toxic situations. Mm-hmm. The woman needs to walk away. The man needs to walk away. If you two are not good for each other, then just get away from each other. It really should be that simple.
It is.
To Chet Hanks, I mean, it's just with this dude in particular. For my Black people, my brothers and sisters, listen closely.
Listen
to me closely.
Listen.
We need to stop letting these culture vultures in so easily.
I agree.
Like I said, we can be friends with white people. That's not the issue here. We all have white friends. I have white friends. I'm sure my co-hosts, they have white friends. So that's not the issue here.
Very close white.
White dudes like Chet Hanks, we should not be letting him in. Like, fuck all this cookout shit. Let's stop this whole invite to the cookout thing that we have going on. Let's end it. If we're gonna cancel something, let's cancel that.
Let's cancel that man right now.
Well, he could be canceled, but let's cancel invite to the cookout. Like, let's just cancel that.
I agree. Until y'all get my man Pepe Le Pew back on the air, then he ain't done nothing wrong.
We just need to cancel this whole invite, these certain white people to the cookout. Whether it's a white boy or white gal, we just need to stop that. Straight up. We need to stop, and we just need to hold the line more. We need to have a more of a who goes there mentality. Like, if you're gonna come in, like, who goes there? Like, we gotta check your paperwork.
Not who goes there.
Yeah, I love it though.
We gotta
check the paperwork. We gotta check the paperwork.
Like, we can't just be letting certain people in, because I think the thing with Chet Hanks and just people like him, white people like him, they feel free to say the N-word, and they go out here and fuck Black women, and it's just, it's crazy. They talk all this shit, and they feel free to do it because on some level, we Black people, we allow it. We allow them to be these culture vultures. We allow them to come in and then, make an ass out of themselves and try to be some kind of Black character. I think so. Some of that responsibility is on us. That's why I'm talking to Black people on this. Like, we just need to stop this shit straight up.
Yeah, whoever didn't, I will say, of everything you just said, Pat, because I'm for people loving whoever they want to love it, etc. But let me tell you this: the folks that let him say the N-word and didn't address it in that incident, they're assholes. Because there's no way he would have sat in a conversation with me and dropped that N-word, and I just sat there.
Because Nia Angel's
that
gonna
conversation would have went left really
Nia
quickly.
Angel would have gotten that baby powder
that would
loaded up.
That would not have
mm-hmm.
at all. So,
and I would have taken a picture too and tell him you got knocked the fuck out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not. No, I completely agree with you, PAT. We definitely have to, start calling people out on their bullshit behavior. It is not going to improve if people are never told, hey, dog, you can't just be, walking around being an asshole, being, perpetuating stereotypes and, appropriating our culture and offensively at that. Like, it's very simple. Get your shit together and stop behaving like you could just do whatever the fuck you want to, because you certainly can't do it around me.
Before we go into our next one, all I just want to say is Chad Hanks has been officially, I'm gonna tell you guys, officially a free agent. He is no longer a part of the black community. I repeat, he is not part of the black community. He's a free agent. He can move on to his own.
He never was.
If he was, I made sure he got cut. He's not getting paid. He got kicked off. He can't be part of the squad. He just can't.
I mean, whoever his token black friends are that accepted him, I guess that's their black community. But I don't know about the whole black community at large, accepting this cat. Like I said, his token black friends accepted him, but I don't accept him. So it's not even a thing of kicking him out. He shouldn't have been in the first place.
I agree.
That's just how I look at it.
No, facts. Agreed, fellas.